When I was in school, just 10 students in the entire school were obese. But today, in a class of 30 to 40 odd students, nearly 5 to 10 of them are overweight or obese. Nearly 40% of our country's population is either overweight or obese. The Indian weight management market, which comprises of diet, supplements, weight loss pills, fitness equipments and services, is currently at 25.2 billion US dollars, and within 10 years, this is expected to rise to $55.9 billion. So obesity is definitely on the rise. The problem is we don't see it as a disease, but it is actually the mother of all diseases. And 30 years back, this market was at a nascent stage. So where are we going wrong? Because when you speak to most obese or overweight people, they will say that losing weight is very difficult and we don't even eat meals properly and yet we are gaining weight. That is the problem. Since you are not eating properly, you are gaining weight. Studies have linked associations of skipping meals and weight gain, and that is why you need to eat to stay in shape, or rather you need to eat to lose weight. And why do you need to eat to lose weight? Because when you skip meals, your metabolism reduces. We humans are originally we were hunters and gatherers. Even today, when we don't give our body the nourishment that it needs, it activates the starvation mode. So what happens? It reduces your metabolism. And once the metabolism is down, your body will start converting the calories from your food to fat instead of utilizing it for energy. The other thing that happens is cortisol levels are raised, so you become anxious and then you also become hangry. A lot of times it happens, we are unnecessarily irritated or we start shouting at very small things. Pull back and realize why you're doing it. Is it because you're hungry or is it because it's a genuine problem which requires you to get angry? The other thing that happens is when you skip your meals at a later time, your body will make you crave for calorie-dense foods. It happens with all of us. Sometimes we miss our lunch. Does it happen? When we go outside going for shopping or a movie or we are in office and we just missed our lunch. And by evening, all that you can think of is just go ahead and have that pastry or some coffee or just give yourself a treat. Why does it happen? Because our sugar levels lower when you're not eating, right? And that is why you crave for all these calorie-dense foods. A common phenomenon with a lot of my clients, especially who are women, is that the minute they wake up, they are in this mad rush to, literally do everything for their household, and they have to do it. They have to send their kids to school, their husbands have to go to office, they themselves have to go to office, in-laws have to be taken care of. So the minute they wake up, it's like a firefighting mode that they are in. They ensure that everyone's breakfast is on time, everybody leaves on time, their lunch is packed, and in all this whirlwind, what happens? They themselves skip their own breakfast. It happens with a lot of us women out here, I'm sure. But later on what happens is, say around 10:30 a.m., they head to the pantry, either in the office or they head to the kitchen, and the first thing that they can grab their hands on is a Numpkin. I'll just show it to you. Just imagine this bottle as your stomach, okay? If you had your regular meal, which is around 250 to 350 calories, right? It consists of your regular chapatis or a little bit of rice, dal, sabzis, dahi, everything. That comes to almost 300. Let's take a ballpark figure of 300 calories. It fills your stomach till this much. You feel full, you feel nourished, you feel satisfied. But this same calories, if you're skipping it and if you're having junk food instead of this, here's what happens. This is precisely, you see this brown band? Yeah? So these are powdered biscuits, which is only 300 calories. So 300 calories of healthy food fills your stomach this much. 300 calories of any junk food fills your stomach only this much. So obviously, you will feel hungry. You'll feel as if you've not even eaten. So what do you do next? Okay, you haven't eaten, let me eat some more. So you end up eating something else, maybe some namkeens, some chips, yeah? Or maybe some instant noodles. And then you clock in another 300 calories. So that's a total of 600 calories versus that 300 calories. Even then, if you don't feel full, a lot of us end up having tea or coffee. So that's almost clocking in around 7 to 800 calories, 500 extra calories. To burn these 500 calories, either you run 8 to 10 kilometers or you do some strenuous activity for 1.5 hours, which most of us do not do it. Most of us have a sedentary lifestyle. And the problem is when you eat any packaged foods or even food that we are not used to having, our body does not recognize it as food. Tell me something, if you've missed your meal and you've just had biscuits, do you ever feel that you've eaten, or what do you say? I've skipped my meal and I'm having a biscuit. Is that what we end up saying? Mostly, yes. What happens is your body does not recognize it as food because you're not getting the nourishment that is needed by your body. Junk foods are basically foods that are loaded with calories, which give you barely any nutrients, and versus a regular meal which is 250 to 350 calories, a packet of biscuit will give you 300 calories. A packet of chips may give you 300 calories. Just one single pastry is 300 calories. A packet of instant noodles is approximately 300 calories. One slice of pizza is almost 250 to 300 calories. A burger can be anywhere between 300 to 500 calories. And when we are having pizzas and burgers, since we don't feel full, we also call for some fries, we call for some colas. Add to that, it can become anywhere around 1,000 calories that you're consuming. If you're playing a football match and you're having a little bit of cola, one understands that, okay, in that summer's heat that you still burn it. But if you're watching the football match and you're having the cola, then I don't think it's a very advisable option. You need to be mindful of what we are eating. So weight management is nothing but simple maths. It's all about the calories that you consume from food versus the calories that you burn through physical activity or through your basic metabolism, which is your breathing, circulation, digestion, repair and regeneration that our body does. If you consume more calories and you burn less, then you will gain weight. But if you burn more calories and you consume lesser calories, then obviously you will lose weight. Dieting does not mean starvation. It's all about eating sensibly, mindfully, and practicing portion control. I think a lot of times people think that, we're on a diet means we have to give up on our food. No, that's not the case. We just saw it. It's better to have your main meals than skip them and go for something which will give you added calories. In today's day and world, it's not possible to completely give up on junk food. You are bombarded with it, you have to socialize, you do mix up with people. So it's important to exercise portion control. That is the key to weight management. Because even if you're eating healthy food, if you eat excess of healthy food, say for example, if you eat excess of nuts, you will still gain weight versus eating it in the correct quantity. Now, practicing portion control is very important, especially when you're having junk food and all, because don't go beyond that one slice of pizza. Don't go beyond 2 biscuits. If you're wanting to have cola, it's, I think, better to have some nimbu pani or have some water, because that's much low in calories. Water is 0 calories. But nimbu pani will still quench your thirst and nourish you with vitamin C versus an aerated drink. You need to be sensible and mindful of what you're putting inside your body. When it comes to portion control, our parents were really good at it, because I still remember we were always given a balanced diet. For our meals, we were given those chapatis, 2 sabzi, some dal, curd, some days non-veg, and our snacks always used to be fruits. And whenever there was junk food, we had to share it. I don't remember a day in my school life when we've had maybe some instant noodles on our own. No, that was kind of a luxury. We always divided it, and mostly I used to let my brother divide that, make that division, because he was very just with it. If it was me, I would have maybe had more of it. So we always practiced portion control. A piece of pastry which came to our home was kind of cut into 3 pieces, and then 3-4 of us would have to have it. Even a mango, which is also a calorie-dense fruit, we never had the entire mango like how we are eating right now. Restaurant food was a very rare thing. It was always occasional. And that's how our calorie intake got controlled. Because when you are eating in a restaurant, say for example, even if you're having coffee in a coffee shop, Since you pay that huge amount of money, some 300 odd bucks for a cup of coffee, they give you a huge portion. That portion is good enough for 3 people. And since we pay, we end up having the whole of it. No, split it. Or just have as much as needed and just leave it. Don't bother having the full whole of it. Even for a burger, have half of a burger, a little bit of fries, 3-4 of fries, and try to avoid the colas, or just have 2 or 3 sips. That's good enough for you. When we are eating ice cream, the ideal quantity of ice cream is probably 4 spoons. And I know so many people who end up having the entire sundae. Pizzas, again, like I said, not more than 2 slices, maybe 1. And that too, it's an occasional treat. It's not something that you should have on a daily basis. Or burgers, that split it. Like I said, when we were kids, we never had colas and all kept at home, unlike today. I remember junk food used to come when guests used to arrive. So we kind of loved guests also. Ki bhaiya chalo, somebody is coming and we'll get the treats and all. And it was all shared, completely shared. In fact, I remember an incident. When I was a kid, I had fallen, kind of gotten a stitch over here. So my dad took me, got the stitches, and on my way back, since I didn't cry, he said, very good, I'll give you a pack of gems. I got this big packet of gems and I was like, wow, this is so good, I get to eat it. But by the time I could reach home, there were so many guests sitting there, and they were like, oh, your daughter fell down, we heard she's got stitches, we came to meet her. And the whole line of them sitting, here I come in, and my dad says, chalo beta, share it with everybody. I was like, huh? Okay. So by the time I shared that entire chocolate, in the end, I think I was left with 6 of them. And it's such a memory that I still remember. I was left with just 6 of them. The minute I got to know that my brother is coming from school, I just gulped it so that, I don't have to share it any further. This is one incident which even till date we remember and we laugh so much. But, at that point of time, maybe we thought, why our parents are so strict. But that is the exact way. We need to know when to stop. Today, we are not exercising that. We have colas at home does not mean you just have it on a daily basis. No, junk food is addictive. You can't have it on a daily basis. It has to be occasional. We have to rewire and, relearn what our parents did for us. Like murku and mithais were for Diwali, cakes for birthdays. When somebody comes in, that time you get a little bit of treat, and that's kind of okay. And don't have restaurant food on a daily basis. Just make it an occasional habit. So to sum it up, eat your main meals, especially breakfast, because this is one of the most important meal. You are giving your body food. It is anticipating food, because after you've slept, after your dinner, this is almost a 12-hour gap that your body is getting without food. So your blood sugar levels are low, your blood pressure is low, your body anticipates food, and when you don't give your body the breakfast that is needed, your metabolism will come down and your body will make you crave for calorie-dense foods. And that is the reason why most of us end up gaining weight. Observe portion control. Eat as much possible, eat at home. If it's not possible, if you are having food at a restaurant, split it, get it packed, just have a little bit of it. Whatever the portion comes, have either half or 1/3 of it, not the entire thing. And the same principle applies with junk food also. Do not have the entire packet and have just very less of it and share it. The best thing is, before eating any food, ask the question why, because that is the power of why. Why are you having this food? Are you having this food because you're hungry and you really need to nourish the body? Or are you having a particular food because you're just emotionally eating it? You want to have something which is tasty, or are you getting bored and you're eating? Or are you stressed and that is the reason why you're eating? The minute you get your answer from this particular why, take the next action, which kind of helps you determine your weight loss goals. And don't let what you want now interfere with what you want most. So in case you're having the junk food, think about it, probably just taste it and then keep it away. But opt for healthy food, and the more healthy that you eat, because fruits and all versus a biscuit, 2 biscuits which will give you 100 calories, one small fruit is a much better option, which will give you barely 20 to 50, 30 to 50 calories, and not beyond that. And it also gives you vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So eat something which is healthy, and always ask the question, why? Why are you eating whatever food you're eating? And does it nourish your body or does it harm your body? With this, I come to the end of my talk. I thank every one of you for your time, and special thanks to Team TEDxBistupur. Thank you so much.